we are joined by Liberal High School graduate Melvin Sanders, who played in the NBA with the San Antonio Spurs, played at Oklahoma State for Eddie Sutton, played at Seward County for Dave Brown, and played at Liberal High School for Scott Hinkle. Well, now he's all over the globe, and he's right now in Dallas, Texas, but he played at Russia, and he played in Spain this past year. Now he's back in the United States in Dallas right now. Melvin Sanders, 1999 Liberal High School graduate, joins us on the phone. 99, that was a really long time ago, Melvin.
Well, yeah, that was a really long time ago. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. It just turned 30 a few months ago, so yeah.
Goodness
so,
gracious.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Well, that doesn't make any of the rest of us feel younger either, I tell you that. But what are you doing right now in Dallas, Melvin?
Just hanging out, man. Actually enjoyed the finals, watched the finals last night and just kind of celebrating, Dallas winning it all. It's really good for the city. I mean, it was time that Dallas won them one. I can't really say that I was rooting for Dallas because when I was playing for the Spurs back in '06, Dallas actually beat us in Game 7, so kind of still got a little grudge against Dallas, but still happy for them,
Describe what it's like to play for Greg Popovich.
I mean, unbelievable coach. I mean, just knows the game really well. I mean, it's just a different team in San Antonio. It's like just a lot of veteran guys there. Play with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. It's just a great atmosphere down there. I mean, it's just really professional. They treat you great, and of course, I think Greg Popovich is probably one of the best coaches in the world. So it's a good deal.
And these Mavericks, a few of these guys on the Dallas team. How do you think they were able to get that championship done? And do you watch the game a little? What things do you see differently in a game that most of us would not see when you're watching?
It just comes from just knowing basketball, just playing the NBA, just being around. It's like I said. I mean, NBA it's just a totally different game from college and of course high school and everything else. Just guys are so much more athletic. I mean, just so much more skilled out there, and it's just. I mean, I think some of it, if you ask me, some of it a little fixed at times. If you really ask me, because some of the calls the referees make are definitely questionable. I mean, but overall, it was a great series. To watch. So it's a good deal.
And Dirk Nowitzki, you happy for that guy?
Got to be happy for. I'm actually more happy for Jason Kidd. Like I said, he's been doing it for 17 years, and to see him finally get a championship. You're always happy to see guys that's been doing it that long and are good guys and play the game the right way. Always happy to see them win the championship.
Now, Melvin, you played at two different places this year, at Russia, and averaged 14 a game there, and then you played in Spain, and a much lower scoring, different game there, and you were one of the top scorers on that team too. Averaged about 8 points a game, which is one of the top scorers. Describe your two leagues you were played at this past year for those of us who haven't seen it, and what kind of role you had on those teams this year.
Like I said, when I started out in Russia, it was just like I said. Of course, super cold started off. And I had been in Europe, for the past probably 5 or 6 years in France, Greece, Belgium, and Italy. Playing a lot of different places, and actually I was in Spain, which is the best league actually in Europe, and the second best league in the world. And I played there for 3 years, and just wanted a little change of scenery, so I went and tried out Russia over there. Played really well over there on that team, and then after about January, it just started getting way too cold, so I decided to go back to Spain and be on the island for the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of did that. But yeah, like I said, the leagues are great. Basketball, a lot of NBA players leave the NBA going over to play in Spain. A lot of actually like Ricky Rubio. A lot of people might know him. He's
Sure.
actually coming from the ACB next year and playing with Minnesota. So it's definitely a good league.
And describe the style they use in Spain. It's one of the better professional leagues out there, but it sounds like maybe a little more controlled, slower style. Is that how it is?
It's definitely a lot more. A lot more skilled basketball. Of course, NBA is more athletic. A lot of guys flying around dunking the ball, mm-hmm. and in Spain, it's just a more controlled half court game. A lot of offensive sets, a lot of threes, and you can play zone in Europe. So it kind of takes away from the scoring a lot too when you're playing zone. So definitely slows down the game.
Now, what's your role on these teams, Melvin, on both of your teams?
So I used to fly around, dunk the ball a lot. Now I'm known as a shooter. Now I'm known as a shooter. So I kind of stand out there and shoot a lot of threes now. Got to hang out a 3-point line a lot more. Just of course still playing defense. And just things of that nature. So I just basically just scoring and just whatever else they need me to do.
I remember when you shot the heck out of the basketball at Seward County from beyond the arc when Eddie Sutton was in attendance. Talk about what you remember most about your year at Seward and how that helped propel you to OSU.
I guess you kind of got started. Liberal High School, that actually what really prepared me. Like I said, I had a great coach, Scott Hinkle. Just got to phone him a little bit ago. Had a great conversation with him. And, of course, Coach Cornelson. I think this kind of set me on my path, to be successful. Of course, in at Seward, had a great 1 year there under Dave Brown. And so I remember when Eddie Sutton was in the building. Actually had about 29 points a game. Still remember that game. Like I said, shot the ball pretty well and just – it was just a great experience. I still miss Liberal or not. It's just kind of hard to get back there because really I have a big airport there in Liberal, so it's kind of hard for me to get back, and visit a lot. But, Liberal was a great place and still is a great home for me. So it's a good deal.
And, yeah, Melvin, next I wanted to ask you about your time at Liberal High School and Coach Gary Cornelson in the track program and Scott Hinkle in the basketball program. What are maybe some things that they taught you that maybe you still even think about now?
I think more importantly, being a good person in life, just doing the right things, and just like I said, always just hard work, of course, Gary, Coach Knudsen was, unbelievable coach, football and track coach, and just said, just taught me how to be a winner, basically, like I said, of course, and, basketball, Coach Hinkle, went to state, a couple of times, and, had a great career there with him, and, I think it just kind of, set me on the path to, be successful in basketball and kind of let me shoot all the balls. So that kind of helped a lot, too. So that was a cool deal.
You remember the dunk at Hayes?
Yeah, I still remember that. I still remember that dunk. I can't jump like that anymore, but, so I got to remember all the old stuff that I did great back in the day, so.
What's your favorite dunk you had? Since you have to remember the day, Melvin, what's your favorite dunk you've ever had?
Dunk I've ever had. Actually, you know what? That Hayes dunk probably was pretty sweet. I probably kind of surprised myself being that young and dunking like that, So that was actually a pretty good dunk.
For those who don't know, he tipped the ball away, went the distance of the court right to left, dunked. The other guy was called for a foul, and the other guy was actually knocked out on the play, on the floor for a while, and it gave Liberal a lead. One of the more memorable plays, certainly, that I have seen by Melvin Sanders. And now he's living in Dallas, and then he's playing for a couple teams in Russia and in Spain. And Melvin, talk about lifestyle and going overseas and playing. What were things you had to get used to in doing that as compared to playing when you played for the Spurs?
The biggest changes, of course, is in the lifestyle and, of course, the language barrier, It's when you go to different places, the biggest thing is the language barrier because, of course, people are going to speak English everywhere, but most people are going to speak their native language in their country. So, once you get past the language barrier and, of course, some of the different foods over there, you kind of get used to it. I've been doing it for a while, so it's not as hard. I'm pretty much adjusted to living in Europe. But the biggest thing I say would be the language and the food, just getting used to that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the big difference.
Describe playing with Tim Duncan.
Unbelievable guy. Fun. A lot of people think Tim Duncan's not a cool guy, kind of quiet. But once you get to know that guy, it's unbelievable. Really pretty much just plays video games all day and just counts his money. That's all he needs to do. So it's kind of a good deal.
Best player, Melvin, you ever had to guard?
I would say either Dwayne Wade or Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili, that guy one-on-one is unbelievable. Just, used to play against him in practice, and he's just really a tough guy to guard. And, of course, I played against Dwayne Wade in the game, and that he definitely is the quickest guy, I think, that I've ever played against. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Melvin Sanders is joining us, a 1999 Liberal High School graduate here on the phone, still playing professionally in Russia and in Spain, and, of course, a former Redskin and Saint. And, Melvin, it sure has been fun to talk with you here this morning on the show. And, hey, enjoy the summer. And you kind of sound like the same Melvin. I can still picture you on the back of the Liberal High School bus going to a basketball game somewhere, cracking jokes back there.
Yeah, nothing much changed, man. Still, enjoying life, playing ball and, just hanging out. All
right. Well, Melvin, hey, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here this morning. Thank you very much, and good luck to you this summer and then next basketball season. Now, before we let you go, where do you think – are you going back to these same teams to play next year?
Well, Well, it depends on who's paying me the most money. Whoever's paying me the most in euros, that's where I'm going. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, understood. Duly noted. Thank you,
right.
Melvin, very much.
All right, Brock, have a good one. Talk to you later.
That's